In a representative democracy, citizens elect leaders to represent their interests at all levels of government. From smaller government bodies all the way up to the federal government, Americans have the right to cast their vote for the person who they believe best represents their ideals, policy opinions, and 1,000 other variables. But when it comes to actually casting ballots in elections, most Americans prioritize the federal government, specifically the presidency. Presidential elections are by far the most well-attended elections, garnering substantially more vote totals than local elections. In Chatham County, the 2024 general election, which featured a presidential contest, and all 9 seats of Chatham County Commission, garnered 142,000 voters. That's 68% of the total number of registered voters in Chatham County. But in 2023, when the city council and mayoral posts for Garden City, Pooler, Savannah, Port Wentworth, and Tybee were on the ballot, only about 28,000 voters showed up to the polls countywide. That's 21% of the eligible voters in Chatham County. Despite most political conversations revolving around the federal government and the presidency, national politics is just one piece of the puzzle. Policy decisions at every level of government affect Chatham County residents, and it's usually the decisions of local government that affect them the most. And to date, Chatham County Government's Public Information Office is looking to affect you in an educational way. I'm Will Peebles, and this is Gov101. Let's start at the top, the federal government. At the federal level, the U.S. government sets national policies that apply to everyone, everywhere in the country. This includes major issues like national defense, immigration, international trade, and the federal tax code. If you've received a Social Security check, filled out a FAFSA for student aid, or driven on an interstate highway, you have benefited from federal programs. Agencies like the EPA regulate air and water quality, while FEMA steps in during natural disasters. And like every state, Georgia has 2 federal representatives in the Senate, which everyone in the state gets to vote for. We also have 14 congressional seats, but voters only get to vote for one of those. In Chatham, we're represented by the 1st District. And of course, at the tip top of the federal government is the president, who represents everyone in the country. Moving down to the state government of Georgia. At the state level, Georgians elect a governor and a lieutenant governor, as well as representatives in the state legislature, which is split into the state house and the state senate, similar to the federal government. Chatham County is served by 3 state senators, serving districts 1, 2, and 4, and 6 House representatives, serving districts 161 through 166. Voters in each district elect these representatives who have a say in a broad swath of state-level services. The state is responsible for large-scale public services that don't fall under federal control. They oversee public education from kindergarten through high school, and they operate the university system of Georgia. They maintain state highways and handle things like driver's licenses and car tax. It also manages public health programs, state law enforcement, and state courts. When a bill passes in the Georgia General Assembly, it can directly change how your schools operate, or how much you pay in taxes, or whether a new road gets built in your area. Now let's get to our government, Chatham County government. Chatham County serves residents across the entire county, including those who live in cities and those who don't. The county handles essential services that need regional coordination but aren't necessarily covered by the state or individual cities. This includes operating the county jail, 911, conducting elections and voter registration, the collection of property taxes, and maintaining records like deeds and marriage licenses. The county also oversees mosquito control, animal services, and public health clinics. In unincorporated Chatham, which we learned about in episode 1, Chatham County provides the services that are typically covered by municipalities, including police, fire, and trash pickup. The Chatham County Commission, made up of 8 members who represent districts of the county and a chairman who represents the entire county. This commission decides the county's budget and policies. Other elected county officials include the sheriff, the district attorney, judges, the coroner, the tax commissioner, and the Superior Court clerk. County and city governments tend to have the most immediate impact on your everyday life. So let's move on to the smallest level of government, which is, of course, city government. If you live in a city, you're also served by a municipal government. City governments are responsible for services like trash pickup, recycling, water and sewer systems, street repair, and public parks. They also run police and fire departments and make zoning decisions, things that affect whether a new apartment complex gets built down the street or whether your favorite restaurant can add outdoor seating. Municipalities pass ordinances that govern everything from noise levels to leash laws. You elect a mayor and city council or commission members to represent your voice on local issues, and their decisions can impact the quality of life in your neighborhood far more directly than anything happening in Washington, D.C. If you've been counting, that makes 4 governments that serve you in one way or another, at least if you live within the city limits of a municipality. If you live in unincorporated Chatham, you're only served by 3, but that's because the county provides the services that are typically provided by a city in addition to the countywide services that we provide to the whole of Chatham County. And while federal elections like the presidency often get the brightest spotlight, the decisions of local governments can affect your life far more directly. A local race for city council or county commissioner might not be as well funded or flashy as a presidential contest, but those races are what shape our day-to-day life the most. Now that we understand which governments provide which services, our next step is to look at how services on the county level are funded, taxes. Thanks for watching our video. I'm Will Peebles, and you are my favorite student.